FM 99.3 KNSI. Welcome to Taking You Home with VoigtJohnson Real Estate, Thursday and Saturday mornings on KNSI. Thursday 7:23, a new time for Saturday 12:53. Let's welcome Miss Heidi. Nice to see you.
Yes, good to see you.
For gosh sakes, the middle of summer.
Yes.
Right? It's going fast.
Yep.
Your house may be waiting for you, I think.
Yes. There's the market's still good. The weather is great to look at homes, and people are pretty busy out there.
Heidi, where do you want to begin today? I always like to start with education, and I think that it's really, really important because people may think they know a lot of things about real estate, but when it comes to being the experts, there you are.
Well, I guess what I wanted to talk about, I was thinking on the way over here, is when we first landed in business, of course you have your company name and you kind of create a mantra, and our mantra is more exposure, more knowledge, more sales. And when we came up with that, it was originally kind of how we market things, right? That's kind of the basis behind it, but it definitely has evolved into not something that we do, but more something that we offer. And when we're looking at more exposure, more knowledge, more sales, it applies to both sellers and buyers.
One of the things that I think is so cool about you guys is that it's not an obvious, you're going to sit down and we are going to teach you about these things, right? It's all about the relationship, and it happens so softly, so smoothly. And that's how it's supposed to be.
Well, it is, and part of that is having the finesse to know what individual people actually know and what they don't, and that is different with everybody, and you cannot quantify that in age or financial demographic or education, because there's some super smart people, but when it comes to real estate, they're like nothing, right?
I'm a radio guy, you're a realtor.
Yeah, and so you have to kind of gauge what people know and get them to the point where they're going to be making good decisions. So for example, from the perspective of more exposure, when we're trying to educate people on that, with sellers, we explain to them that this is all about your visibility. We want to get you photo ready and get you on and make sure that you're showing up in front of as many people as possible. From a buyer's perspective, our exposure would be, let's get you into as much product as possible. So we're educating you from house to house to house. Simple one is windows, right? You can go into two houses that are listed at $220,000, and one will have the original wood windows, and one had a beautiful, nice vinyl window update. Yeah. That is the exposure that buyers need to make good, educated decisions. And so those are just some of the details that we go through.
All right, now when it comes to the knowledge portion of this, right? How do you get folks to sit down, get rid of the anxiety, and just listen to the way it's going to be?
Well, for one, the first thing I do is try to step out of the house that they're really excited about, or step out of the house that they're trying to sell. So, and whether it be physically doing that, but actually just saying, okay, let's step away from the physical entity that we're looking at and actually talk about the details that go into this. So that knowledge base for a buyer will be things like, what type of financing will this house require, and what type of future maintenance are we looking at?
Right.
How old's the water heater? When was the roof done? Are you going to be looking at siding? Those cost type of things?
Yeah, but I'm the emotional guy. I'm looking at my house for Christmas already, and here you are giving me the facts.
Yes, well, and the facts are there, but it doesn't mean you can't make any kind of decision you
True.
want. And that comes relevant in new construction right now. New construction is at a premium, but you get a beautiful, nice new product, and people go say, well, what do you think? And I'll say, I think it's a great idea if you're going to plan on staying here for a while, and you're not going to be looking at having to maintain any of your mechanicals or your appliances, all those other things that might nickel and dime people when they're in an existing house.
Well, what about a buyer? How do you help them?
Well, you mean maybe a seller?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, a seller. Pardon me.
A seller, we would definitely. That's the tricky one, where we actually have to gauge what people know, because just because somebody owns a house doesn't mean they really know what the heck's going on in the current market. So we'll sit down and educate them possibly how they're going to net out on their house and what is their buyer pool looking like. And that's a big thing. When I talk about buyer pools, I'm talking about who is likely to buy their home and how do they shop and what price ranges can they be in and those types of things.
There is when you put your house on the market, the perfect buyer is out there.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And that's the secret, getting them together.
Yeah, exactly. And the getting them together could be as simple as maybe doing some yard work in the front, or it could be as simple as let's adjust $5,000 on your price.
When people are out and about looking for houses, do they still want to drive by before the appointment? You know, the sign's out in the yard, right? And they've got an appointment for, say, I don't know, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Sure.
Will they drive by beforehand just to check it all out?
Oh, I definitely think people would do that. I was doing an open house this weekend, and I had a gal, and she said, yeah, I drove by a couple times yesterday. I wanted to see what the traffic patterns were at different times of the day.
Sure.
I wanted to see, who was out and about and what the neighborhood felt like. But yeah, I definitely think that that's a thing, and, you'll see people stopping and getting the brochures and circling, yeah.
Okay, the last thing you have here is getting to the finish line.
Yes, so when we talk about the mantra of more sales, it's not the demonstration of, hey, we have a sale in our pocket. It's more that sale equates success, and whether that be a buyer or a seller, that's the value that we provide is the sale, which equals success. They've landed where they wanted, or they've moved out of where they wanted.
You are making memories, making dreams come true.
I hope so.
It's very, very cool. Taking you home with VoigtJohnson Real Estate. Heidi, thank you.
You bet.
How do we work with you at VoigtJohnson?
Well, you can give us a call at 320-774-2400 or visit VoigtJohnson.com for a good gallery of agents to help you out.
Taking you home every Thursday morning at 7:23, Saturday afternoons at 12:53. Don't forget, start that home search at VoigtJohnson.com.